Hi, it's Bev again with another video. You know, YouTube videos, some of them are for laughing at and some are for learning from. Well, this is a learning video and I hope you stay to the end. Okay, today I want to talk about why you should beware of the food industry. And I'm talking about the processed food industry here. So where are they racing? They want to make profits. They want to save on costs. They want to sell you more product and they want to extend the shelf life of that product. So maybe you really aren't their priority. Let's talk about this. Maybe they're going to be substituting cheaper, non-natural ingredients into things that you're eating. Maybe they're going to sell you more by altering the palatability of the food that you're choosing. And they've only got three tools, right? Salt, fat, and sugar. Take one away, they're going to up another one. And they want to extend the shelf life. I mean, they don't want waste and they don't want any of the product returned. So, you know, you see things, they can last for weeks on the shelves, months, sometimes years on the shelf. It's quite shocking. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do they save on costs? Well, I'm going to take sugar as an example. I mean, a natural sugar is sugar cane or sugar beets. But, you know, in the market, these things are up and down. They're not controllable. So what the industry decided, I think it was back in the 70s, that they would control the cost of sugar by making their own sugar. And what they did is they came up with high fructose corn syrup. It was a lot cheaper. It was very sweet, and they certainly didn't need as much. But it still is an industrially produced sugar, and they convert glucose into fructose. And of course, you think the fructose is good because it's in fruits, right? But when it's in fruits, it's combined with fiber, and that slows down the arrival of that sugar into your blood. But when fructose is whipping around on its own in your body, it doesn't have to go through that process. It just goes straight to your liver, and your liver has to stop what it's doing and process all of that fructose. So we know it's bad. So what does this food industry do? It changes the name of it, right? So you don't recognize it because it still wants to use it and it still will use it. So what does it call it here? These are just some examples. Invert sugar, inverted sugar, isoglucose, liquid corn sugar or liquid maize sugar, right? Sounds better. Fructose, it is fructose. Fructose isolate, glucose fructose. How about fruit fructose? It's still high fructose corn syrup. And it's hidden in many, many, many foods. Okay. How do they sell you more? Well, they play around with, as I said, palatability. And you know, you want food to taste good. You want kind of a taste reward when you're eating. And I said they had those three tools. Well, if you're going to buy, for example, a low fat or a fat-free, let's take yogurt as an example. Well, they're going to have to put sugar up. So you turn that around and you're probably going to see one of those high fructose corn syrups on the back. You know, it'll say fruit in the bottom. It's a fruit puree of some sort. It's just an example saying that low fat products often have high sugar. What's another one? Gluten-free. Now, some people have to eat gluten-free. That's fine. But some people choose gluten-free items because they think, it'll be better for me. I won't put on so much fat. But the problem with gluten-free is it's going to have more sugar, much more sugar. So a piece of gluten-free bread is much higher in sugar than a piece of regular bread. And we know that regular bread is fast sugar. This is really bad. Labeling is another thing. Labels are really interesting. I could do a whole video on labels. But let's take 100% grated cheese. Well, yeah, it's 100% grated, but it's not 100% cheese Just look at the ingredients. How about 100% beef patties? Well, yeah, the beef is 100%. What the heck else is it going to be? But believe me, there's going to be a whole other pile of additives and junk in that, especially if it's coming through the window of your car. How about natural flavorings? Well, you think that sounds good, right? But legally, they can call it natural flavorings because the natural refers to the process. And a natural process is heat, for example. So if they use heat to make that flavoring, they can call it natural flavorings. But it really, mostly, they're just synthetic flavorings, and they've been created in some lab somewhere. What's another one? Well, I could go on forever. Let's talk about extension of shelf life. Now, they created, the food industry created trans fats, and they were specifically created to meet this need. Sure, they improve stability, they boost flavor, that kind of thing, but really they're an industrial creation. They alter the fats and they're become saturated fats. They'll take unsaturated fats and make them into saturated trans fats. Anyway, they call them many different things. Hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated oils, trans fatty acids, you know, goes on forever. Here's another thing, I heard this recently, plant-based oils. I'm thinking, well, what the heck else are oils? They have to be plant-based, right? But the new bandwagon is plant-based everything, right? Everybody's after plant-based. It's a new buzz term, you know, so that coconut oil, you know, palm oil, they're all plant-based, right? They're not necessarily unsaturated fat. What's another one? And that kind of thing is hidden in a lot of food. If you buy plant-based burgers, believe me, if a bunch of vegetables look like meat, they're processed. Just turn that container around and look at the ingredients. You're probably going to see high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, who knows what. Okay, and finally, I should mention something else about sugar. You know, we all know sugar is bad for us, and of course the industry knows that we know that. So it uses a lot of other names for sugar as well. And I have 52 of them as examples in my book. But I'll just mention some of them. Agave nectar, cornstarch, fruit puree, which you'll see in yogurts, maltose, hydrolyzed starch, who would think that was sugar, palm sugar, well, you might think that's sugar, but it's going to be saturated, rice malt sugar, maltodextrin, that is sugar, turbinado, and the gums, guar gum, xanthan gum, those are both sugars. So these things are hidden in a lot of food. And you know, you're trying to take care of yourself and you don't even necessarily know how much sugar you're eating. And so people are getting heavier and heavier and fatter, but it's not really their fault. It's because they don't know what the ingredients are, or they don't look. So what I would suggest is to shop the outside aisles, right? That's where you get your fresh produce, where you get your dairy products, your meats, your chicken, etc. And I would just caution you that if you're going into the internal aisles, that's where the food industry, the processed food industry, rules. They run the game, they make their profits. So what you have to do, if you're going in there to buy something, you must read the labels carefully. You have to see what you're eating. Avoid the trans fats, avoid the high fructose corn syrup, look out for the hidden sugars, okay? Anyway, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.